you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. I want to tell you I'm doing things a little bit differently this year. So I've added some alcohol screening into the intake paperwork, which you filled out for me.
Okay.
And I'm going to go through the answers with you if that's okay with you, how you filled that out. The reason I decided to add this is we're learning more about how alcohol may be impacting like younger women. There's more and more younger women who are drinking in a pattern that might be more risky, where they're having more alcohol and heavy use patterns, and that can have a risk on your health. Certainly, we're actually seeing more young women with cirrhosis in the U.S. today who have liver issues, and then also because you're using birth control pills, that method is one where sometimes we forget, sometimes there's an issue. And if we happen to be drinking and we've missed the pill and we got pregnant, weren't planning on it, then there's a small risk for alcohol-exposed pregnancy. So that's why I'm shifting that in my practice this year.
Okay. Sounds
So
good.
how often do you have a drink containing alcohol?
I would say maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. And how many drinks containing alcohol do you have when you're having those drinks?
So it can kind of depend. If I'm going out with my friends, like on like a Friday or Saturday, I might have 3 or 4. But if it maybe just like a glass of wine at dinner, like on like a Tuesday or something, then just 1.
Okay. And how often do you have 4 or more drinks like at one time, like in one evening?
I would say maybe once a week, depending on if I'm out with friends.
Okay. So this little tool gives me a number score for where your alcohol use falls relative to like other people. And so what I'm getting for your score is 7 is the cutoff for what we consider low risk alcohol use. And for women, we don't get to have as much alcohol as men get to do. So for us, it's 7 drinks in a week, and no more than 3 drinks like on one occasion. Okay. So let me ask you a couple other questions, and let's see where you go with that. How often during the last year have you found that you were not able to stop drinking once you started?
I don't think that's happened before. Yeah. I definitely
That's great.
Yeah, I feel
that's
like
great.
Yeah.
How often during the last year have you failed to do what you normally expected to do because of the drinking?
Maybe once or twice.
Okay. And how often during the last year have you needed a first drink in the morning to get yourself going after you had a heavy session the night before?
Oh, 0.
Yeah.
Definitely try to avoid alcohol if I'm like really.
How often during the
hungover.
last year have you had a feeling of like second thoughts or guilt or remorse about the drinking?
A couple of times, probably.
Okay. Okay. And how often during the last year have you been unable to remember what happened the night before when you might be drinking?
0.
Okay. And have you or someone else been injured because of your drinking?
No.
Okay. And has a relative, friend, doctor, anybody else been concerned about how you're using alcohol and said anything to you about that?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. So here's where we're at with your score. So the screening question score was a little bit on the high side, and it looks like maybe alcohol's played a role in you not doing something you maybe were supposed to do. And you're thinking, sounds like you're thinking a little bit about that, because that's probably where you're going with the, gee, maybe I need to reconsider that. Okay. So let's just think about what are some things that you could think about that would you want to do differently on a scale of 1 to 10. Where do you think you fall in terms of thinking about changing how you use alcohol? And 1 is like, I'm not there and I don't want to do anything, and 10 is like, I'm there and I'm ready to go.
Definitely like I can, change it up if need be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're probably someplace in the middle on a score of 1 to 10, maybe
Like a 5.
5? Yeah, good. That's a good place to be.
Yeah.
It tells me that you're thinking about it a little bit, and that you know that alcohol is something in your life that maybe you want to think about doing
Mm-hmm.
differently. And remind me what you're using for birth control again.
I'm on the pill.
Okay.
Mhm.
And are you having any concerns about that? Are you having any trouble remembering them?
No, I've been pretty good about it. I set an alarm on my phone, so I remember when
Good
to
girl.
take it.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Perfect. So let's think about what might you think about doing differently. So
Mhm.
right now you're having drinks maybe a couple, 3 times a week. Is that like
Mhm.
with friends on Friday, Saturday usually?
Yeah, generally I drink when I get together with my friends, and it's like if we're like going out, to a brewery or something, hanging out, that's when it's done.
What do you think you could do that might be different if you're in the environment with your friends and everybody's just ordering another round?
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about it?
Yeah, I could probably just maybe say like, oh, I'm gonna like sit this one out or something, if needed.
And you
Mhm.
could do that. You can have a glass of water every
Mhm.
other drink.
Yeah.
You can order a non-alcohol drink, and
Mhm.
depending on where you're at, a lot of the bartenders really like making them, and they're really good. I've had some really good mocktails.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. That is something worth considering.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on and think about and talk about other things related to your visit today, because sounds to me like you've got some insight into sort of how you're using alcohol, and you're willing to make a little bit of a change, and we can check back again next year and see how things are going.